Let's analyze our results from this quiz on World War II. And let's take a look at question number 1. It says, which is the most valid conclusion to be drawn from a study of the rise to power of the Nazi Party in the 1930s? So this is prior to World War II. The correct answer is C, and the correct answer is C because it says people may be willing to sacrifice liberty if economic security is promised. Economic security is the significant idea. We know that because of inflation and the Treaty of Versailles, many people in Germany post-World War I were living in poverty, and they were very much seeking this economic security, and as a result, they were willing to sacrifice or give up liberty or freedom. C is the answer. Question number 2. It says, Adolf Hitler was aided, or we know that aided means helped, in his rise to power by the what? Was it support of the French government? Nope, that didn't help Hitler rise to power. Nope, not the support of the Communist Party. And it was not the imperialist policies. Instead, it was these economic problems that we just talked about in question number 1 that assisted or aided his rise to power. We talked about hyperinflation. We talked about how many people in Germany did not have a lot of money. And as a result, they were willing to support Hitler if it meant that they were going to be prosperous. Let's take a look at this quote in question number 3. It says, when faced with economic and political chaos, right, the people will choose security over freedom, even if this choice involves an almost complete loss of liberty. We've seen this before in history, but it's asking us which is the best example of a society that has made the choice described in the quotation. It would not be the United States during the 1770s, because we know that they chose freedom over alternatives. It's not going to be the United States during the 30s. It is, however, going to be Germany between World War I and World War II. People were looking for security, which they did not have as a result of underlying conditions in Germany. Question number 4. It says, which situation best illustrates a policy of appeasement? Well, appeasement we know means avoiding conflict, especially if there's politics involved and you want to maybe give concessions to an enemy power. And when we're looking at this, I can see that option A says United States sent troops to defend South Korea. No, that's not an example. Blockading Cuba to force Soviet Union to remove missiles. No. Parts of Czechoslovakia were given to the Nazi Party to avoid war. The answer to number 4 is D, because this is an example of appeasement. They were giving parts of Czechoslovakia to Germany as a way to avoid conflict. Clearly, D is not the answer. The answer is C. Let's take a look at question number 5. So we're going to be analyzing this timeline, and the question says the rise of aggressive fascist governments in Europe occurred during the period represented by the letter. So between 1905 and 1915? No, that's not the case. What about between 1915 and 1945? Well, 1915 was around the World War I. 1945 was the end of World War II. So during this period, we know we had Hitler, we had Mussolini, we had a number of fascist governments. So the answer to number 5 is B. So here we have a cartoon, and we'll look at it in a moment. The question is asking us, which policy did the nursemaids use to keep the baby quiet? Was it militarism, isolationism, imperialism, or appeasement? Let's take a look at this cartoon. And I see we have Chamberlain as the nursemaid saying, shh, he'll be quiet now, maybe. And when we sort of zoom in a little bit, this is maybe Hitler, it looks like, right? And I see it says the Munich Agreement. It says added concessions, which we know it means like to give in something. And here we see a swastika on this cradle. This suggests that the nursemaid is avoiding conflict, does not want to wake the sleeping baby, in this case, Germany. And the answer is D, appeasement. They are appeasing Germany. So number 7, what happened during the 1930s after the baby finished the bottle? Well, we know at the end of 1939, the Nazi Germany Party invaded Poland. And what are the options? Did he sleep more peacefully? No, Nazis certainly did not didn't ask for different nursemaids. They did, however, make more demands. That's certainly what the Nazis did. The correct answer for number 7 is C. So here we have a question, and we need to analyze this chart. And it says party representation and the Reichstag of the Weimar Republic. So here we have the party. By party, we don't mean like a fiesta. We mean a political group. That's what a party means in the context of global history. And so we have lots of political groups or parties. We've got the Nazis, we've got the Catholic Center, we've got the Communists, and there's even, quote-unquote, other parties along with their representation during this time period. So the question says, which statement about the Weimar Republic before 1933 is best supported by the information on the chart? We don't see anything that suggests that political representation was limited. We don't see anything that ideas were discouraged, nor do we see anything about Democrats continuing to gain support through the period. We do, however, see many different political ideologies were represented in the Reichstag. So when we look back right here, we see all these different political groups or parties, so the correct answer is D. Which event occurred first? First being the key word and led to the other 3 events. The correct answer is C. Without the World War I, we wouldn't have the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, the Bolshevik Revolution, or any of the rise of fascism like Hitler in Germany. The correct answer is option C. The last question, question number 10, it says, which ideology best completes this graphic organizer? And we've got socialism, capitalism, democracy, and fascism. Let's take a look at this little graphic. We see use of terror and violence, censorship of the government, and control of the news, blind loyalty to the leader, and extreme nationalism. This looks like, to me, sort of autocratic. It looks like militarism. It looks like maybe single party. We see extreme nationalism. And we know that these are all components of fascism. So the correct answer to the last one, number 10, is D.